Good evening and welcome to this unique poker tournament featuring 5 former poker virgins. Just 2 heats to go until the big money, so the pressure is well and truly on. The last game was so full of surprises that it's anyone's guess as to who'll win the £97,000 prize money. Here's what happened.
There had been a new champion amongst the 5 in the shape of Lee the Jester.
I'm feeling good before tonight's game. Tonight there'll be no new tactics as such. It'll be consolidating what I've already put into practice and making sure that becomes part of my game in the long run.
Confident talk from Lee, but could he outperform the others for 2 games in a row?
All in. Okay, all in.
And a 10. Laura wins.
The answer was no, and last week's winner was this week's loser. He was swiftly followed by his friend the Wallflower, who seemed to have had his feathers ruffled.
She's so predictable.
Raise you.
She certainly is going to get caught with a hand in a cookie jar. She's gambling like that. Oh, sorry.
Not everyone was as bothered as Mark, though. Next out was Andy, leaving the girls alone with the online qualifier.
Pair of 9s.
True to form, the fighter raised her game. She won the battle, but not the war, which meant that Liv came out on top.
Well done, girls. You both played very well.
Winning is the best thing. Woo! She was lucky.
Here now to psych us up is psychologist Alistair Ross. And the last game, such a surprise. Lee, who'd won the previous game, went out first.
Well, it's a psychological minefield, no limit, because you can always go from champ to chump overnight if you don't concentrate, and the best players have a stamina for that type of concentration over a long period.
The strongest showing yet from the fighter, Laura Lynn.
Yes, she might be learning that gear changes are important. You know, we've been saying that she needs to learn that you move fast sometimes, then slow, you push forward, and then you hold back, and she might be learning that there's a situation for each of those approaches.
And Liv, learning that actually, even though you can go out first sometimes, you can come back from almost nothing to win.
She's been emotional about some of the downs, and it's okay to feel emotional, that's natural human instinct, but she's maybe controlled that now, and she's just concentrating on the game.
I suppose the big surprise as well was Andy going out quite early.
Yes, it's easier in sport and competition to be the person who's coming up on the rails, you know, someone who's chasing, than it is to be the person who's been out in front for a long time and is perhaps looking over their shoulder and losing momentum, and it's important Andy takes the momentum forward into the final few games.
And what can we say about Mark? There he is, plodding on in his wallflower way.
Yes, well, the other players, funnily enough, have been like first and last and shown that type of a swing. And being in the middle's okay if it was a league table, but, you know, it's not. It's an all or nothing, winner-take-all competition, and Mark has to show that he can get to the final heads up, and then he can push on and win.
Well, the 5 are busy preparing for tonight. How are they feeling? As they prepare to do battle, it's time for us to meet another legendary poker pro.
My name is Phil Hellmuth Jr. They call me the bad boy of poker, or the poker brat, because occasionally when I'm at the table, I get a little bit grouchy. I started playing poker when I was 19 years old in college. By the time I was 24, I was the youngest world champion in history. Me get emotional? Are you crazy? I've won $8 million in poker tournaments. I was #1 on every money list. I'm really a very blessed person, very, very lucky. What can I complain about?
Welcome, Phil. Nice to have you here. Now, I know you haven't seen anybody play yet, but we have been talking about one of the players, Mark, who hasn't shown an awful lot of aggression. Can introverted characters win?
He's going to have time to practice, and when he practices, he's going to have to, you know, decide, I'm never going to call. I'm always going to raise it or fold, and just say, take call out of my mind. Raise or fold.
Now, Liv, who is nicknamed the Professor, is very good at numbers. How much does that help?
Well, you know, it's interesting. At the very highest levels of poker, the numbers are totally irrelevant. It's all about reading players and being able to disguise yourself. But in this format, playing against some relative novices, even though they've been working on their game for 8 weeks or whatever it's been, understanding a good game theory or good math is extremely important.
So they've played 6 games out of 9. There is still time for the mediocre players to improve.
There's still time, and from what I understand, you have a player or two here that's very, very aggressive and doesn't know how to slow down. You have a player here who just calls, doesn't play many hands. That's good for finishing 2nd and 3rd and 4th. But these players are going to have to change their stripes. And, you know, the great thing about poker is you can change your stripes quickly.
Words of wisdom there, but as you know, facing each other across the table is only half the battle. UltimatePoker.com is running an internet tournament alongside this one, in which the winners get the chance to snaffle some of the prize money. Last time they saw him off, can they do it again? Join us after the break to see who they're up against tonight. Well, as they used to say at my old school, from little acorns big trees grow, and there they were, 5 poker virgins. They have blossomed. Now, Laura Lynn, you played a corker of a game, didn't you?
I did. It's just luck.
No, it wasn't just luck. You were doing so well, weren't you, with the chips?
No, I think it was just luck. Still the same old aggressive player. Nothing learned, just luck.
And Liv, how's it feel to be back at the top?
Feels like it's where I should belong, really. it feels like home.
Feeling quietly confident.
Near the top,
Well,
I think you were.
No, she was.
The last game.
The last game, she won. OK, just because you came out top.
On the river, I might add.
Oh.
Meanwhile, Mark, you continue to just leak your chips away, really, don't you?
Yeah, unfortunately. But
You going to change your tactics tonight?
I've got something up my sleeve, I think. Sleeves.
You have.
Maybe, yeah.
Feeling confident?
Yeah, as confident as I can be. Confident as everyone else is.
And Lee, you went from first to last.
Yeah, I was slightly unwell, but we're not going to back it too much. I could have played better. I did play pathetic. I'm not going to make excuses and I come back strong. Strong, I tells yous.
Andy, what about you? You suddenly crashed out fairly early on.
I had Laura Lynn next to me and just seeing this enormous chip stack growing. I think I just panicked a bit.
Tonight, feeling confident?
Yeah.
Laura Lynn? No? Oh, why not? Give her a pep talk, Lee.
I'll talk to you after, don't worry.
All right, then.
We'll get your confidence levels
A
up.
masterclass.
If you cast your mind back 3 weeks, you'll remember that the internet player managed to slice off £3,000 off the original, of the original £100,000 prize money. And of course, there's another one on the way. This time, he can take £7,500 off them. Let's find out more about him.
My name's Craig Davidson from Glasgow. I'm a factory worker and I've played poker for 6 months. If I win the £7.5 grand, I'll probably have a party and save the rest for a rainy day.
I'm lying, I don't know what I'm going to do with the money.
My tactics for tonight, give me your chips, please. My warning to the other players is, when they go into a pub with me, they better have a good hand, because I won't be playing junk cards tonight.
Is this the cat who'll get the pigeon? Will he sneak off with some of their pie? Take a slice of the action? With a full table, it's time to shuffle up and deal. Let's go over to Victoria Corrin for the commentary.
Again, Liv can't take the tension. Laura Lynn.
I'm going to say...
As it happens, Laura Lynn. 2 of diamonds again for Laura Lynn. A very lucky hand for her earlier.
I'll call him.
Okay, cool. Another 10.
You know, I was really impressed. One of the really fun things for me to see is the players grow up right in front of my eyes. Now, watching Laura Lynn, she has been a little bit reckless in the past from what I understand, and I talked to her a little bit about it, and she said, tonight I'm not going to be reckless. She played beautifully. And then Mark, you know, doesn't bluff much. And I said, look, you want to win this thing, in the final you're going to have to bluff, and there's no money for second place.
What do you think, Alistair?
I think there's been a bit of a levelling out tonight. You know, Andy started off learning quite fast, but not everybody develops at the same rate, and what you've seen is the other players really come on, and we've got a bit of a level playing field now.
Let's talk about Liv. Now, she played a very good game as well, very tight game.
She seems to have that emotional stuff under control now. I like her at the table now. She's got a good image. She doesn't say much during the hand. She doesn't smile. She just calls out the bets, and I think she's got an image about her at the table that makes it hard to read for the other player.
What's wrong with being emotional at the table, huh? You tell me, huh? I've won 9 world championships. I'm emotional.
Really? Do you
Really
talk, do you chat and talk and do that sort of thing at the poker table?
Well, that's why I'm known as, you know, the poker brat, the bad boy of poker, because when I lose a big hand, I'm like, how could you play that hand against me? And I just kind of lose it for a minute or two.
Phil, if you were giving final tips to them all, what would you say?
Well, I'm going to tell them this. When the blinds get big, you have to put the chips in. You know, when the blinds are 5 and 10 or 10 and 20, and you're calling in the small blind, you don't call. You either move all in or you fold. But they should be putting in more raises at that point in the game and making more calls. You know, a great thing about this is it's up for grabs. Anyone can win. I really believe that.
Thanks very much. Well, that's what the experts think, but it's the chips that are doing the talking. Let's have a look at the leaderboard. And Mark has 15,000, Laura Lynn has 25,000, Liv has 27,000, Lee also has 27,000, Andy still in the lead with 32,000. Only one more heat before they face each other in the final to win that £97,000. But will it be £97,000? Because the internet qualifier in the next game could take £10,000. Join us the same time next week.